Hello, welcome to Sacred Brand Strategy. Today I'm talking to Sagittarius Rising, and we're going to be talking about what this new moon means. It's going to be in Purva Ashada, the Nakshatra Purva Ashada, in the zodiac sign Sagittarius. So it's going to be in your first house. And the focus that's coming up for me, it has a lot to do with your audience and the restructuring things in that area. So let's go ahead and dig deep in and see what's going on. As I said, the first two cards that came out was audience and USP. Your audience and USP. And so I feel like the main focus is your audience. Why? Because the new moon is in your first house, right? So the new moon is affecting your overall life, because that's the meaning of the first house. But also the new moon is aspecting into your seventh house of relationships. And the seventh house is where we can gain some information on audience, who your audience is. So I feel like with this card clarifying the King of Cups, but it was reversed, I feel like you might not be emotionally connected to your audience, or there might be some type of disconnect with your audience in some way. So this could mean that maybe you are not telling your audience your stories. Maybe you're not reaching out and doing enough engagement, or you might need to take a look at your audience and see if maybe you need to adjust. Maybe you need to adjust your audience, okay? And then we have this Diana focus intention. Think about what you desire, set your sights high, and expect the best possible outcomes. Okay? So for you, you have, okay, you want to stay focused on your values. And this Diana, to me, this is retrograde and debilitated Mars in your 8th house of transformation, but it is also, the 8th house is the area of other people's money. Okay? And with this USP coming out, is aspecting Mars, is aspecting your 2nd house of money, but also value. And you want to focus on your values and also the value that you bring to your audience, and really focus on that this month, the month of January. Let's look at what's going on in the chart for you, Sagittarius Rising. Okay, so I already talked about your first house. In your 3rd house, where you put effort in, that's where you have Saturn and where you have Venus. So you're gonna put a lot of effort into you're gonna put a lot of effort into your value, because Venus represents value. You're gonna put a lot of effort into loving yourself, and that's a part of this. We can never forget that, okay? But you're going to want to, with Venus and Saturn being in your 3rd house, and they're inside Aquarius. Aquarius is like mass communication. Okay, it's because it represents large groups of people, but it also, it's mass communication. So you're going to want to put a lot of effort into mass communication, tightening up your marketing, getting into groups. Getting into groups is going to be really important for you, but also your value and your money. You're want to put a lot of effort into that. In your 6th house, your 6th house represents your daily work routine. That's where you have retrograde Jupiter, which is the ruler of this new moon, and it's in your 6th house. So the 6th house does represent, it's your daily work routine, and with retrograde Jupiter there, it's like restructuring things in a way. It's restructuring things in a way. And it could be you like restructuring what you share, restructuring how you share things, because Purva Ashada is in your first house, right? And Purva Ashada is represented by the fan. So the fan, it likes to fan out information, spread information, and it could be the lack of spreading the information that you like have in you. You're not sharing enough, and that's why you don't have the connection with your audience that you need. The emotional, because we're talking about the King of Cups, you might be sharing some information. It might not be the right information for your audience. And also, it doesn't really matter the type of information you're sharing if you're not emotionally connected. So you're going to have to find a way to tighten up your stories, tighten up your message, tighten up your engagement, Sagittarius rising, so you can really connect with your audience, and just be really focused with that. In your 10th house, that's where you have Virgo, and your 10th house represents your work environment. That's where you have K2, and it's also where you have Lilith. So in your work environment, it's really important that you, again, the USP, you're making sure you're standing out, what makes you unique. And that's another way that you can connect with your audience. Your unique selling proposition, that's what USP stands for. So you also want to make sure you're really making that known, and you can do that. The best way to do that is brand stories. So you can create a brand story about what makes you unique and what makes you stand out to your audience. And then in your 11th house, where that represents how you earn. In your 11th house, that represents how you gain authority in your work environment, and that is relationships. That is networking, okay? So that is what I have for you right now, Sagittarius rising. If you want a personal reading, if you want a one-on-one reading with me about your brand or your career, let me know by clicking the link in the description so we can have a one-on-one meeting. Also, if you want help with redefining your audience, if you need help with your USP, defining what your USP is, and if you need help with any brand stories, we can create set up a discovery session so we can figure out the best way to do that for you and your brand, okay? That's what I have for you. Until next time, remember that your brand is sacred.